purpose of which was announced as 1, to approve the minutes of the December 9th regular meeting, 2, to review and approve the December financial reports and approve payment of December bills, 3, to review and approve amended 2024 appropriations, 4, review and potentially approve 2025 revenue and appropriation budgets. What is that up to? 5, approve citizen member appointments for the Fire Oversight Committee. 6, approve the 2025 Ohio Public Employees Retirement System Conversion Plan. And finally, to approve a resolution to self-certify a $50,000 micro purchase threshold for American Rescue Plan Act Fund 20 spending in 2025.
Okay, do we have any visitor comments? Okay, so we'll move right on to fiscal officer's report and hand it over to Mr. Heath.
All right. So, sent you a lot of files. So we'll go through everything as quick as we can. What did I say? The record from 2 years ago was 34 minutes for this meeting, I think. So we'll see if we can best that tonight. First of all, we have the minutes from the regular meeting on December 9th. Are there any changes needed? If not, then I have a motion to approve them.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the 12/9/24 regular meeting as presented.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. I've also sent you the December financial reports. Those were current through December 27th. There's probably little, if any, activity that's going to happen after that, except for the interest that we will get at the end of the month from First National Bank as well as Star Ohio. You have the December fund status. You have the year-to-date cash summary by fund. You have the month of December cash summary by fund. You have the December receipts and the December payments. And several items I want to make note of for you. Receipt number 349 for $9,906.17 from Sedgwick Claims Management Services, Inc. is an insurance claim for one of our police cruiser collisions. I think that was one of the Deer collisions.
Yes.
Also, next, receipt number 350 for $7,322.10 from the Valley View Joint Economic Development District is the fourth quarter JED tax collections from the high school employees and the construction contractors. And just a note, a reminder that the JED withholding rate will be dropping from 1.5% to 1.25% effective January 1st. Receipt number 358 for $1,324.40 is from the state of Ohio, and that is for the liquor permit fees. And receipt number 363 for $36,628.79 from Valley View Local School District is the second of two payments for the 2024-2025 School Resource Officer Services. And then under our disbursements, voucher number 1023 for $9,947.12 to Safety Systems is for the upfitting of the new police cruiser. Voucher number 1069 for $9,761.17 to Crickmore Collision is for the police cruiser collision repairs. I think it's the same related to the receipt for the insurance company. Voucher number 1076 for $2,360 to P&R Communication Service is for the installation of the updated cruiser mobile radios paid using the American Rescue Plan Act funds, and that concludes the radio project for the police department from the ARPA funds. Voucher 1077 for $72,372.03 to Rumpke Waste Incorporated is the quarterly trash collection invoice, and this invoice was 8% higher than the prior quarter. That reflects the new prices that were the most recent contract update included the 8% annual increase. And finally, warrant number 50816 for $250 to the Valley View Athletic Boosters is a donation to assist in the weight room expansion at the high school, which I understand will also be made available to our police officers to use once it's completed.
That's gonna be the ask, yes.
Okay.
So is that
Hopefully
something
that'll
that we
happen.
should have voted on, or who do?
Well, you're going to approve it
Oh, we're going to.
as part of the disbursements.
Okay.
It could have been voted on.
Mhm.
We didn't play it that way, but you feel that should have happened?
I feel it should have happened. If we're gonna make a donation, I feel that we should all approve it, just like, I mean, sunshine in a bag, we all approved that. I mean, it's a little different, but, there's a lot of people asking for money out there. It should be our prerogative to decide. I don't have any problem with it. It works out fine for you guys, but.
We'll make note of that for next time. And that concludes my discussion of the financials. Are there any questions or comments? If not, could I get a motion to approve the financial reports and authorize payment of the December bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the December financial reports and authorize the payment of December bills, warrants 50812 through 50820, and vouchers 990 through 1077 for payroll direct deposit, tax withholdings, and other electronic payments.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is to approve the amended 2024 appropriations. I did send you that list of appropriations. The total amount is $3,749,797.86. If someone would like to introduce that, it will be Resolution 76.
I'd like to introduce Resolution 2024-76, a resolution authorizing amended 2024 appropriations totaling $3,749,797.86.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, I'll call the roll. Dr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mr. Potter?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2024-76 is adopted. Now we'll begin getting into the 2025 budget. First thing I want to do is share with you, and I did send it to you, the proposed estimated revenues from the county auditor from our tax levies, both inside millage as well as the resident voted outside millage. And you have the list of that on the first page, and you can see what's inside versus outside millage earnings. The total, which is about $260,000, $2,260,000 in total. On page 2 of that I sent you, you will note that there is one levy that's expiring at the end of 2025, and that is our road district levy that we share with the city of Germantown. So we're going to want to put that on the ballot. We're probably too late to do it for May, but we can certainly put it on the November ballot. And this most likely would be a renewal unless you decide you want to do a replacement or any kind of a change to the levy. And finally, the third page, you'll see the local government fund estimate for 2025, which is $26,160, which all goes into the general fund. With that in mind, we will start through the budgets. First budget we'll review is the police department. So the majority of their revenue does come from the taxes. And so as you look at their total estimated revenue of $970,000, 800 of that is from the taxes that I just shared. There's also $65,000 in there for the trailer grant that was applied for and approved for the CERT team. There is, let me step back, the total taxes are about 770. There was 65,000 for the grant. There's another 73,500 for the SRO officer. And then there's 18,000 in there for the rents of the cell tower. You've now decided that that will go into the police department every year. There is 4,000 in there to sell the police vehicle that we're going to talk about here in a minute. And then finally in the revenue, we've got the transfer in for the salary and benefits as well as interest. And I guess I should have probably prefaced all of this discussion by saying these budgets include the items that you approved at the earlier meeting in December 9th, which includes the 5% cost of living increase, the allocation of the elected official salaries and benefits to the police, road, and trash funds, and the transfer from the general fund to the police district gas tax and trash funds to offset those allocation of elected official salaries. The total of that allocation and transfer will be $37,400. Also, the $8,000 transfer from the general fund to the road and bridge fund to estimate the cost to mow the grass at the township hall. And finally, the estimated transfer of $26,650 from the general fund to the police fund, road and bridge fund, road levy fund, and that is based on the estimated interest that those funds would have received this year in 2024 had the state allowed the receipt of interest. So I should have said that early before I even started. So now we're back to the police fund. So that's our revenues, 970,000 in total. They've estimated their expenditures at $1,280,000 approximately. There is one change from what you received from me the other day. The very last account, motor vehicles, new cruisers, it went from 100,200 to 101,000 because there is unpaid. We've not yet paid for the new cruiser that's arrived from Montrose Ford. I just got that invoice today. And there was also an $800 item for striping. And with that in mind, if Ms. Close or Chief want to talk about anything particular in your expenditures?
Actually, I was gonna talk about the sale of fixed assets, the $4,000 that we put in there for the sale of the cruiser. I was gonna request that we make that the SRO cruiser and keep that.
No, this is the red car.
Is that the red car?
Mm-hmm.
Which?
The sale of fixed assets, that was the red car.
That was for the red car. Yeah, we're definitely selling that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. I don't have anything.
So what were the biggest changes from year to year as far as expenditure? Just personnel? I mean, is that the biggest?
Yeah.
Yeah, we added on another full-time plus a part-time.
Yeah,
Plus, last year, we added the full-time in the last quarter and the part-time in the last quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So, we didn't spend 3 quarters worth of
Salary or health insurance.
The police department budgets many of the accounts fairly high, just in case. A good example of that is the medical. In 2023, the total cost was $150,000 for the department. This current year, $183,000. They budgeted every year, they budget $250,000. But one major surgery, and we will spend that $250,000. So it's probably a good idea to budget it. If the budget comes in with the same number of actuals, then we're estimating that the year-end fund balance will be about $191,000 at the end of 2025. That would be a significant drop from where I estimate the end of 2024, which is $500,000. But again, that's because so many of these line items are really heavily budgeted. No anticipation of spending it all. In fact, Ms. Close and the chief are very careful about not spending. And if you look at the fund balance for the police department, in 2023, it went from 250,000 at the beginning of the year to 364 at the end of the year. 2024, it went from that 364 to now 500. So you can see they're really doing a good job controlling expenses.
We had a good year, but I think we definitely lost what we were spending this year.
I'm a tightwad. I told the guys
That's
no.
okay. We gotta be.
So you did mention the red car. So the motor vehicle line item not only has the unpaid portion of the cruiser we've already received, but also assumes a replacement of the unmarked vehicle. Are there any changes that you'd like to see?
No.
Okay. If there are no changes, we'll move on. Okay. So the next one is going to be the road department. And we have, as you know, 5 different funds for the road department. So we'll just go down through them one at a time. The motor vehicle tax, the estimated revenue is 17,000. The estimated expenses are 18,000. And the fund balance will drop from an estimated 4,300 at the end of this year to 3,300 next year. This fund is pretty predictable. The gas tax fund, the total estimated revenue is 161,000. Total estimated expenses 254,000, including the payment for the dump truck, because we've not yet received the main invoices for that, as well as that's 100,000 I think you have in there for road work. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that fund balance will drop significantly from 153,000 at the end of this year to just under 60,000 in the next year.
I think the main portion of that is the payment of that dump truck that got carried over there, was it not?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, then you'll have to start building it back up again for another vehicle down the road.
Correct.
The road and bridge, estimated revenue 220,000, estimated expenses 239. Fund balance increased from decreased in 2025 from 136,000 to 117,000. And with that, there's also the 56,000 in there for the dump truck.
Right.
Otherwise, everything's pretty much the same. The road levy fund, estimated revenues 193,000, estimated expenses 223,000. This one, the budget says the fund balance would go from 38,000 at the end of 2024 to 8,400 at the end of next year. That's cutting it a little too tight, but the property tax line is definitely under budgeted because we're only allowed to budget at 95%. So this year we got almost 198,000 in the property tax. Next year we're only allowed to budget 188, but we know it'll be at least 10,000 higher. And in that one, I've estimated our payment to the city at 108,000, which is a little bit more than what we sent them this year. But we should have a little bit of an increase, I expect, in the actual tax payments. And that 20,000, Jeremy, is under capital is what? Help me out here.
Where are you at again? Under road
I
levy?
guess that's the road, in the road levy. Oh, that's the road repair. That's your road repair. We had to bump it down from your 26
Gotcha,
down to
yeah.
20.
Okay.
Okay. Final fund is the permissive motor vehicle tax, estimated revenue 63,000, estimated expenses 76,000. And the major part of that is this road repair at 62,000. Any questions, comments, changes you want to the road levy? Or anything else, Jeremy, you can add to it?
Just so the board's aware, we are looking at carrying over a minimum next year of roughly 120,000. Mark and I had discussed trying to at least have 3 months worth of money set aside, because the way all our funds get paid, we might not have enough money to, pay wages or any repairs that might happen in the first 3 months. So, 120 some thousand will be carried over to try to help us through the first 3 months of next year. And also with the money that's built into each one of the funds, we're hoping that in 2025 we'll have approximately $200,000 to do road work with. If you look at the road budget, like every year, it's basically a pie of all of the funds put together. You take out all the overhead, wages, benefits, fuel, electric, insurance, take all those things out, and whatever's left gets dumped into the contracted road repair. So any money that is, and that's why we try to keep all the line items so tight, is because that pushes more money into the contracted road repair. So obviously it's not where I'd like it to be, but we tried that game of trying to get a levy passed and weren't successful. So we tried to do the best job we can maintaining those with the limited amount of funds that we have. And 200,000 sounds like a lot of money, but that's what it costs to pave Siegel Road, which is only 1 mile long. So.
And with that levy expiring next year.
Yeah, I wish I would have known that. We might have put it on in the fall, but that was an election. We could have ran that in November, but not sure how successful it would have been. But yeah, that kind of bumps us to having one chance.
Yes.
And competing with the fire levy.
Good. Yes. And they're concerned about that. Yeah. Any levy, really.
But really, the only things that have changed is, as you know, salaries went up, benefits go up as a result of that. But that's really the only main change in the budget from last year as far as monetarily. We just keep moving that money that's not overhead over into contracted road repairs. So,
Has the gas tax pretty much stabilized, or?
I think it has, hasn't it? The gas tax
From year to year?
income. It went up when the governor increased the tax amount,
Right.
which was helpful. It wasn't a savior, but it was helpful.
The last 2 years have been pretty well the same amount,
Right.
in the low 140s.
So it's kind of stabilized after COVID, yeah.
So the levy that's expires next year, is that the 2141 levy?
Yes.
Correct.
So it's like 190,000 or something, you said? Good chunk of change.
It's the only levy we have for roads, and we do share that with the city.
Yeah, half that goes to them. So.
Any changes you want to see to the road budgets?
One other question. Looking forward, what is your next foreseeable purchase that you're going to need to buy? Anytime in the next 5 years?
As far as equipment,
Equipment or any sizable In the next 5 years?
Other than road work in the next 5 years,
No equipment?
I don't see any equipment need to be replaced, cause, you know, both, the three major pieces of equipment, backhoe, dump truck, and dump truck, those are bare minimum 12-year pieces of equipment. So backhoe probably even a little longer than that. So we're at least probably at least 12 years out on any major equipment purchases. I don't see any needing to replace the pickup truck in the next 5 years.
Lawnmowers?
Possibly, well, the lawnmower, if we had to replace it, it might be something that's budgeted out of the general fund. I don't know, because it's used to
Right.
both those areas, but, possibly in the next 5 years, budgeting to replace the 5400, because it's a 93. That's the one of the road mowing tractors. But other than that, I mean, I'm not actively seeking to save money for any specific piece of equipment at this time.
How many hours is on the 5400?
Not a lot. That's the only reason. It's, you know, it's open station, but that's fine. You can't, it's hard to justify getting rid of a tractor that doesn't have a whole boatload of hours on it.
Right.
So.
Oh, good, it's good.
So to answer your question, no, in the next 5 years, I'm not actively seeking, putting anything in the budget for any major equipment purchases.
Good to know.
Any other questions? Any change you want to see? If not, we'll move on. The next one is the general fund and also the trash fund. I'm estimating that our total revenue in the general fund is going to be $245,000, of which $90,000 will be interest. That's down from what the 2024 interest will be, but then the rates are dropping. So, but I feel fairly comfortable with 90,000. I also put in 60,000 for the JED. That's a wild guess, because I really don't know what it's going to be like once they start collecting from all of the school employees. Up until now, it's been mainly the high school employees and whatever the JED collects from the contractors. And I don't know how that broke out between the two types of taxpayers. Otherwise, what you see in there is the property tax and the revenue, as well as the local government money, and then smaller items in addition to that. Expense-wise, as you know, the elected officials' salaries go up by an amount set by the state, which is 1 3/4%. Each of your salaries and mine will go up. There really are not a lot of changes in our expenses. All of the transfers to the other funds for salaries, interest, and mowing have all been factored into the expenses. And I'm estimating the total expenses at $192,000. And so I think that if all things go as I budgeted them, we'll increase the general fund balance from $401,000 at the end of this year to $455,000 next year. So we're continuing to build that. And again, the big unknown is going to be, what will the JED do? Over on the garbage trash fund, we don't have another increase until next October, I believe, to the customers. Mm-hmm. And we just now have absorbed the most recent increase, as I mentioned earlier, from Rumpke. So I think we pretty well know what things are going to cost next year. And I'm thinking that the trash fund balance will go from $131,000 to $154,000. And actually, I think I budgeted Rumpke pretty well. So I think the trash fund remains in good shape. Now, when it's time to go out for bids at the end of next year, because our contract ends at the end of October, help me out, Mr. Stubbs, October 25 it ends, or October 26?
26, because it will go up again in October 25, correct? For another year.
I was thinking it ended in 26. It ends in 26. We got one more.
We have one more
year.
increase next
Yeah,
October.
yeah.
And then, but we should begin then by that point, going out for bids.
Yes.
To the other, companies.
Yeah,
that can
and-
hopefully compete.
Last year at the OTA, Randy DeVelvis from Jackson Township, myself, spoke with someone from Waste Management who said they were interested in bidding at least on our contracts. So I think there will be competition, so hopefully that works out. We'll be sure to keep Waste Management involved when we go forward, Rumpke, of course, and then anybody else that is willing to put a bid in for us as well. So hopefully there's some competition next time to get these rates to stop increasing so drastically.
Any changes or questions about the general fund or the trash fund? Okay, no changes there. The final set of funds are the shared funds with the city, as well as our miscellaneous funds. And really, there's really very little activity there. We're told again how much we can budget revenue-wise, and based on that, I determine how much we can pay the city. We pay the city at 90% on all of these funds. So each of them are going to grow their fund balances as a result of holding back the 10%. I'm thinking the park levy at the end of next year will have a fund balance of 74,000. The pool levy will be about 101,000. The fire levy about 185,000. The senior citizen levy 171,000. And the fire EMS 2010 levy will be at about 198,000. So particularly with the two fire levies, with about 380,000, 380,000. Should the levy fail in 2025, we at least have that money we can send over to the city to help the fire department. The ARPA American Rescue Plan Fund, we plan to take that to zero because the remaining funds, which are $8,300, have all been allocated to the dump truck. So because you have a contract to purchase a dump truck, we have satisfied the requirement that the money must be allocated before the end of 2024. So we're good there. Nothing budgeted at all for the Sunbury Cemetery except for a little bit of interest revenue. And I did budget $2,000 for next year for the Fouts Fund to pay out. And I'm thinking about a $1,400 interest revenue, so that Fouts Fund would drop a little bit. But of course, we're only allowed to spend, at some point we're gonna run out of being able to spend $2,000 a year because we're limited to paying out, I believe it's 75% of what the fund has earned. And we're still using earnings from prior years in order to pay the $2,000. Any questions about the other funds or any changes you'd like to see? No? Okay, then on Thursday at our organizational meeting, you will approve the revenue budgets under a resolution, and you will approve all the appropriation budgets that we just reviewed. Okay, let's move on. Next item on the agenda is to approve Robert Triber is his name. He's applied for a vacant seat on the Fire EMS Oversight Committee. I did send you his application. That seat will expire at the end of 2025. The City Council is going to approve that appointment at their meeting on Monday of next week. And we also need to approve it here at the Township, and we do that with a motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the application of Bob Traber to serve on the Fire EMS Oversight Committee with the term ending 12/31/2025.
Second.
Any discussion?
Looks like he has a good background for the position, so based in fire from University of Cincinnati. So seems like a good pick.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Every year, in order to, for unused vacation and sick time that is cashed out to be, in order for that to be considered earnable salary by OPERS, the township has to have an annual conversion plan on file with OPERS. The plan must be reauthorized every year and sent to them by the end of January. So I have given you the language to approve the 2025 conversion plan. And I think I also actually sent you the entire resolution, but I don't think there is a need to read the entire resolution. We do this every year, but that will be number 77.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Resolution 2024-77, a resolution authorizing the fiscal officer to execute an annual conversion plan for 2025 with the Ohio Public Employees Retirement System.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, I'll call the roll. Dr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mr. Potter?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2024-77 is adopted. And the last item for business tonight is something we also have done the last several years. And starting back in June of 22, when you first adopted a resolution to authorize an increase in the micro purchase threshold from $10,000 to $50,000 for most spending using American Rescue Plan or ARPA funds. That has to be reauthorized every year, and since we still have $8,000 left to spend, I think we should be cautious and go ahead and authorize it one more time using resolution number 78.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Resolution 2024-78, authorizing the increase of micro purchases threshold for 2025.
Second. Oh, he's got it.
Okay. Any discussion?
And if anybody wants to read that resolution, there
It's only what, 1,
4
2,
pages.
3 pages long.
or, you know, so.
Hearing nothing, I will call the roll. Dr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mr. Potter?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2024-78 is adopted. That concludes the order of business that we put into the notice of the meeting. Unless we have visitor comments, I think we are ready for adjournment.
Could I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 7:39. Did we beat last, what was the
We did
record?
not.
55 last year, wasn't it?
55 last year.
I don't think it's a record, but
It's not a record, but it's better than last year.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned. Did we vote all in favor of the adjournment?
Aye.
Did we do that?
we did.
We did, okay.
Jeremy, good luck with that diet.
We're all pulling for you, buddy.
My doctor says I'm obese.
Really?